Hello and welcome to a Friday live stream. It's Con here. I hope we're on time. Yeah, we're a couple minutes late, but I've been running around to show you some interesting things. Hope everyone is good. Good to see everyone. I've been away for a week, so that's that. Enjoyed the hikes in the mountains of Slovakia. And the idea came to me to ask you, what camera do you use on your holidays? What are recommendations of cameras and lenses that you can give me, as well as our viewers, as well as share your tips and tricks on travel photography. I'm sure it's a right time with now it's nice and warm. A lot of people go on holiday in August and September time. So do share your tips and tricks with me. Coffee Fund, that's the same thing for everyone who is first time here. So if it's your first time, join the live chat because Nikon enthusiasts and people like-minded are in the chat discussing everything photography related. So definitely go join that and have some conversation. We're on Nikon channel. We talk all the Nikon cameras. One thing what I was running late for is to show you this. This is Nikon MF2. It's a 750 frames back. Okay, so perfect film back for Olympics. We had it in stock. I think Gray saw only one in about 20 years. So we've just sold it today. So that sounds like a very interesting thing. Tell me how's the audio. I can see I'm buffering a little bit. So just tell me what's going on. Okay, buffering. Why is it buffering? Why is it buffering? That's $1 million question. Okay, I think we're back. So in 2 weeks, hot weather and internet in Pimlico can't work properly. Okay, let me just see if I can do anything about this. Okay. Are we okay now? All right. Are we still buffering? Well, it's a good start, isn't it? The moment I come back, everything just starts to buffer and not work properly. So anyway, so yeah, you've seen this guy. So it's a cool thing. I would recommend you that, yes, you are buffering. I'm not buffering now. I can see on my stream level. So at this moment, I think we're all good. So just refresh if you can. There's nothing better than start a live stream with a buffering. Nothing make the rhythm of the live stream going than buffering. So anyway, hope everyone's okay. Yeah, so 750 back, very rare. We had only one Gray, sold one in 20 years. We just sold one today. So it goes to a collector's home. I would love to use it. So, buffering better. Well, that's good news, William. So that's that. So let's go through chat real quick, see what you guys saying. So hello, Robert Goldman, John Riley, Andy Hater, David the Drunk Wedding Photographer, Ron Ferguson. Good to see you all. Len Oshman, Per Snellman, who else is here? Randall is here. Hello, Randall. Dave Walker, Nick Harrison, Rick Gerthead, Dave Brown, Thomas Berner, Jeff Davis, Ian Knox. Fantastic. Pete Gazzola, Jay Blue, Tim Herring. Everyone's here. Fantastic. I'm glad that you actually, knew that there was no live stream last week, but you came back this week to see me. So I really, really appreciate it. So tell me, what is your best travel photography setup? I can tell you what I took with me. I took with me Leica MP with a Voigtlander 35 f2 lens and Voigtlander 2021 3.5 lens. So that's all I had for my trip. And I used it mainly for hiking, snapshots, family, friends, things like this. That's all I need. Now, I know that my travel setup is not very orthodox. I know that a lot of people would prefer to get all-in-one lens, something like 24 to 200 lens, or 28 to 400 lens and put it on their favorite Nikon camera, like for example Nikon ZF or Nikon Z6 III, Z8, Z7, you name it. So, tell me what kind of travel photography you going for. I generally kind of go for more documentary style, so that's why I tend to shoot that. I generally would take my medium format camera as well, which is my Mi 7. But in this case, I decided not to. For very simple reason is we flew with the budget airlines. The bags is now too small, and when you have to carry clothes and laptop and all sorts of things, I decided, okay, well, we're gonna hike a lot, we're gonna climb a lot. It's highly unlikely that I will be having a lot of time taking pictures with my medium format camera. So it was the first time where I didn't take my Mamiya 7 with me, but I did have my trusty rangefinder, and I ended up with 6.5 rolls of film. So half of the roll is still in the camera. Unfortunately, I had to go through the scanner, but hopefully it's okay. It was an old scanner at the Vienna airport, so it was fine. And I can confirm that I had my film hand checked in Gatwick and Vienna without any issues. All I had to do is be very nice and polite and ask. So let's see what you guys recommending for your favorite travel photography setup. So Rick is saying, good morning, Conan, everyone. My setup is Nikon D850, I assume, Fuji 100S for landscape, DEF, and my Mi 7 for fun stuff. So Rick, you taking 4 cameras with you. Is that the case? Then you probably can handle 4 cameras at the same time. I'm trying to go very light. I think my kind of biggest and heaviest holiday was 15 years ago in China, and I was carrying D700, H200 2.8, 2870 2.8, and 1835 with a shoulder back. Never again, I can tell you that. Big and heavy, and at 35 degrees in summer, on a Great Wall. Not a perfect setup. So since then, I'm trying to go as light as possible. So, and generally, let's say it wouldn't up. If I would have to go digital camera, I would probably take something like 20, like 24-70 f4 was kind of a good setup for me for Z6. I really like it. 24-200 is a good setup because obviously it's a good all-rounder. We all now have 28-400 lens, which obviously is bigger lens, but overall, again, if you're traveling, you don't mind to carry the weight, that's probably a good thing. But yeah, if you really like a landscape photography, of course, you want to get your medium format camera, either film or digital, just to get as much dynamic range if you're shooting digital, or get a very large negative if you shoot film. So all sorts of things. And everyone is doing different photography, which is really, really good. So because, again, I'm more a documentary guy. I'll shoot with 35, 21 if I need to. Some people shoot, let's say, wildlife, and then they want to get the longest last possible. So, but yeah, do you really like all of you guys kind of have when you preparing for your holiday, do you try to see what you have and then you kind of try to cut things out? So maybe I'll have to have this lens because I have too much to carry. So like, do you spend like good 10 minutes or 20 minutes just looking at things and see what can I take with me and what should really stay at home? And then obviously once you're on holiday, you say, oh, I would really love to have that lens with me now, but now it's at home and I can't do it. Or you take everything together, then you use 2 lenses out of, let's say, 7 that you took with you, but then you have everything, and that means you're prepared for any situation that your travel can throw at you. So let me know in the comments below. Dave Brown says, my travel photography setup consists of Z7 24-200 lens, Sigma 150 to 600 lens, and I've recently acquired a used but a great condition 17-35 millimeters 2.8. All are incredible choices. Obviously 24-200, fantastic all round, and then you got obviously the Sigma that covers a very long range, and ultra wide angle 17-35 is a beast of a lens. It's I like it. It's 2.8. It's very sharp. Obviously, they're sharper wide-angle lenses now, but it's 17-35 2.8 F-mount version is a classic for a reason, really. So, hello, team. Thank you very much. Let me see if I didn't miss anyone. Thank you, team. He says, glad you got away. Coffee fans, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jay Blue, as well. Have some coffee and welcome back. I do appreciate it. I do miss our live streams, so it's an interesting one, It's a weird one because obviously I talk for an hour, right? Into the camera with no feedback. So that's that, Here's my coffee today. Today is a Puerto Rican coffee, by the way, a nice single origin. But obviously, I read through your comments, and that's what's important to me. If I would be just talking for an hour, it would be boring. I think that's why when I try to do like little workshops or something like this on on live streaming, they just didn't work because there's no feedback. But from here, I can actually see what you say. I can add my opinion, and we can have some sort of discussion. So I do appreciate you being in the chat. Talking to each other and also making comments on what I say as well, which is really, really appreciated. So let's see what's next. Jay Blue is saying, my new travel photography kit is Nikon Z6 28 to 400 lens. Fantastic choice. Again, all in one lens. You don't need to have anything else. It's basically plug and play situation. You say, like, I was in the mountain, we were hiking, but I can imagine that 28 is good enough to shoot some wide angle shots. Of course, you can go ultra wide, but 28 overall should be okay. And then, you see that bird somewhere, and you can quickly zoom in and take that shot, So I can tell you, I had fun in the mountains. We did about 4 days, 15 plus kilometers every day for 4 days. Trekking, not a heavy hiking. The last day was quite a steep hike into the top of the hill. The other day we did some kind of zip line hiking as well. So you have to wear this helmet, you have to wear this kind of gear, and then before you start climbing, you have to attach yourself with a kind of those hooks, and then you do that. That was good fun. We try to do it every year. It's nice. It's nice. I do enjoy it. It's kind of takes your mind off. There's no internet. It's amazing. I'd recommend really switch off from the online life every now and then, just kind of clear your brain. So let's see. Andy Haiti said, used to travel with D200 and 18 to 200, great combo for travel. Now it's Nikon D850. Haven't traveled with it yet. Well, definitely take it on your next holiday. And he says I'm sure it's a different experience from D200. And he'll put 28 to 300 on the Z lens. So that sounds good. Dr. Robert Goldman says Z8 and something. Tell me, what is this something? What are you thinking of? Is it a prime lens, 35 or something like this? Or is it a zoom lens that covers it all? So definitely let me know in the comments in the live chat. If you're watching this video after the fact, share with me your travel photography setup. Tell me where you're watching us from. It's all greatly appreciated. So, and it's also let other people discover these live streams as well. Sol is saying Z8 with 7200 f 2.8, I assume, and 24 to 120 f4. Yeah, 24 to 120 f4, I think, is a perfect travel lens because, first of all, it's very, very sharp. And second of all, it's a good range in terms of the range of, it goes to 120, but it's still very, very sharp, almost as sharp as 24 to 72.8, because the next one up is 24 to 200, but it's not in the same league in terms of sharpness. It gives you a better range, but in terms of apertures and sharpness, it's not. So it's kind of a nice balance between the image quality and the range, I would say. Per Snellman says Z7 24 to 120, fantastic choice. John Yan is saying Z7 and 24 to 200. Brilliant. Alan is thinking of picking up 28 to 400 for traveling. Again, very good. Again, like if you do hikes, I would say just try it before. See if it's, if it's a reasonable weight to lug with you, So, but if you're not hiking, if you're just traveling, then that's that. Again, 28 to 400, maybe not the best lens for city travel. I would say maybe it's too big. If you do a bit of street life, in somewhere in let's say in Vienna or anywhere in Rome or something like this, because maybe it's too big and too obvious for some people, At the same time, if you in the nature, it's perfect for this. And if you do a bit of wildlife or you go to the sports event, it's really good. Pete Gazzola says, what I'm coming with as well. My setup depends on destination. With my Z8, landscape is 24 to 200. City would be 24 to 70. Yeah, I would say exactly. They're different tools for different purposes. I absolutely agree with you. So ND80 says, definitely if traveling with tripod, put in check bags. Yeah, so I'm sometimes flying with those budget airlines and with the tiny bags, and they make those bags a lot smaller. So, and I'm too cheap to pay for extra bags, so that's the thing. And when that happens, it's a hold luggage, it's hand luggage, and You have to put your most important things in there, and then suddenly you can't take everything with you, and then something has to stay at home. Alan Merrill says that his camera Z8. Alan, what lenses are you using with your Nikon Z8? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I'm catching up. David Whitfield says my trail gear Z6 with 70 to 120 millimeter. 70 to 120? Is it maybe 70 to 100 millimeter lens? I assume. Z8 stays at home. Google Pixel 8 Pro phone for wide angles. Okay, so yeah, we also use our phone as our kind of second camera, as our point and shoot camera. So absolutely, I can see that. Tim says D750 sits in the front of the seat of the vehicle with 28-300 attached. Sounds good, ready for everything you can throw at it. Okay, let's see who is next. Eric Laurie says too much weight can destroy the enjoyment of travel photography. Well, that's kind of my opinion about this as well. I generally don't go and say, "Ooh, like I'm gonna go and shoot landscape with a, you know, 2 cameras and 5 lenses," but because I'm not a landscape photographer. If you're a landscape photographer and that's what you want to do, then it absolutely makes sense. That's the thing. But it really depends. That's the thing. I have my equipment for commercial work, and I would use it for that type of work. I wouldn't take it with me on travel. My travel is, the way I look at it is, I would have my medium format camera generally with me for, some shots that I think are like really bangers. The ones that's like standout shots, and then I have my rangefinder, or FM3A, Nikon FM3A for more of a snapshot type of shots, or documentary style shots. But everyone is different. Everyone does different photography. Absolutely. So that's the thing. If that's your bread and butter, if that's what you enjoy, then get the best possible equipment. But yes, the weight is one of the things, especially if you're traveling, obviously traveling with a spouse, like I don't have enough time to set up the shot and, spend time taking pictures. No, I have to be quick, again, you're probably not gonna have much time to do, let's say, like set up a tripod and, do a lot of photography when your second half is waiting for you, or you're in the middle of the hike and everyone else is working further down, the hill. So that's the thing. Okay, so Ian Knox says, Ian, my stream just got refreshed and I've lost you. Let me just see if I can find you again. I'll come back to you, Ian, because thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. So I found you there, and let's see if I can find you. And of course, I can't find you now. That's just life. Anyway, if I'll see you in again, I'll read your comments. Unfortunately, it just got refreshed real quick. Seth is in chat. Hello, Seth. What did you miss? Well, I traveled past week, and I came back and I thought, oh, let's talk travel photography. That's how much I prepare for these live streams. But this live streams is not about me telling you things. It's more about conversation that you and me I'm having in this live stream. So that's why we need a topic, and then we just basically go from there. That's the thing. Okay, Rick is asking the important coffee questions. Do you like to grind your own beans or just buy the pre-ground beans? Always beans, always beans. I have my own grinder. So I have my own coffee grinder when I travel. And I take a V60 with me when I travel, and I have an espresso machine at home, and I have a proper grinder. So that is, talking about travel, so yes, get your own beans, get your own, little hand grinder, and that's perfect. Craig C says ZF 26 2.8, perfect street photography setup. 105 2.8 macro. Sounds good. And also Z8 24 to 120 is another option for him. It's nice to have those options, absolutely. And it's basically, as you say, whatever you go, you can get the right equipment for you. Paul Hinson is using OM system. He's got OM5 and PL 12 to 70, and it's his lightweight setup. When the Z8 is and 200 kilograms of lens is too much. Fair enough, absolutely. Guys, while we're Nikon channel, we share all the gear we use. So that's absolutely no problem. Whatever you have, do put this in the comments in the chat, and we're going to read through that. Andre say Nikon Z6 II with my 40mm pancake and 24-70 f4 lens. Lovely setup for trail. I absolutely agree with you. Seth says, tell me to start over. Well, I've been buffering for first 10 minutes. That was my beginning of the chat. So, trust me, you didn't miss anything. But Seth, when you travel, tell me what you have. I know you have X100 Fujifilm. What else do you take with you when you're not on, when you're not on a job really, So do you commercial photographers, some of you who are commercial photographers, do you enjoy taking pictures in your spare time when you're not actually working commercially? So whoever you are, professional photographers, let me know in the chat. Okay, so con not done. That's probably when people type in iPhone, sometimes con just been, it's autocorrect thingy. So um, that's not a problem at all. So that's I'm used to con being spelled with con as well. That's absolutely no problem. So okay, so Seth is saying to me, travel kits refer more to light and grip, and I got a lug. So okay, but if you are somewhere in the nature, you gone fishing or something, would you take your lights? I mean, it would be cool. I mean, the lights now are getting more portable. I used to pay, I think, £300 for a cheap battery to power my lights, my studio lights, so I could shoot on location with lights. So obviously now a lot of the things become a lot cheaper and they kind of start to build in. Obviously, there were professional things that would cost thousands of proper battery packs, but I'm talking about just quick location shoots. Let's say you've got a model and you just want to do some portfolio shots for them, So that was a good time. That was a good time. Alan says, I've been using 24-70 f4 and Tamron 7300, but thinking the 28-400 might be a good combo with Z8. I tend to do landscapes and aircraft, heading to New Zealand via Singapore and Sydney. Well, different options. Yeah, if you want to have it all in one, then 28-400 is a good. I think it's a good lens. 24-70 and 70 are both fantastic choices. They're a little bit smaller, but obviously there's inconvenience of changing them. There is, I think, an air show this weekend in Eastbourne, if I'm not mistaken. So if some of you are going there, Steve and Leela, both my colleagues from Grays or Westminster, are going there to take some photographs of aircrafts. So you might see them if you know them. If you know who they are, you might spot them and say hello. Okay, William Rickford says ZF 24 to 120, 100 to 440 millimeter f2. It's a good setup. Thank you. Gary says enjoy your coffee. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Tony Hedges says travel, street photography, Nikon D810 and 1424, fantastic lens. Pretty good. I agree. It's a bit chunky 1424, but it's a superb lens nonetheless. Joe Vlog says, in the EU, I pack a car with everything and pack a bag each day. I shoot with D800, but sometimes I go light with D5300 since AFP 18-55 is oddly sharp and I can fix defects in the post. I agree with you, Joe. 18-55 kit lens, the F-mount 18-55, all versions, I think, except the non-VR version, are optically absolutely fantastic. For such a cheap lens that back in the day was brand new, bought with a camera like D3400 or D3500 for like additional £50, including that. So that's that. Incredible lens. And you know what? Plastic mount, you break it, even I think gears inside were plastic, So normally, like, people would bring this lens to us, say, oh, I dropped it, can you fix it? And we just said, just buy a new one for £100. It's going to cost you cheaper to just buy a brand new one, But optically, it's incredible, this lens. I absolutely agree with you. Us flying to Europe, unfortunately, from UK, it's a bit tricky nowadays, because, like if you fly in budget airlines, so we have to pick our weapons, so no weapons on the planes, but our lenses and cameras before we go there. So that's the thing. Don't really have options, but I might need to start my second camera setup in Slovakia. Who knows, so you never know. Okay, John from Connecticut. Hello, John says, my perfect travel kit is ZF with 24 to 120 f4 kit for one lens outings, plus 20mm 1.8 Z lens, 20mm 2.8 Z lens, and 42.8, I think it's 40 f2, for architectural and street. Planning trips to London with only my f2 AS and 24 2.8 and 51 2 lens. This is bold. This is brave. I appreciate that. That's really, really cool. All right, let's see. Let's go through your chat again. So thank you, Gary. Thank you, Gary Murphy. It's just happy Friday. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. Good to see you all in the chat. Says he never traveled ever. This wasn't work related. you got to get outside. Just take a break, relax. But I understand the professional photographer grind is the grind. You have to be in the grind. You can't leave it. Absolutely agree with you. But yeah, you do travel. We hope to see you, Seth, in England this year. So I think, are you going to be at photography show in London? Is that what's going to happen, or we're going to see you in November? Anyway, we're looking forward to see you. If whenever you're in London, stop by, say hello. All right. Tony Hedges says photography is all practice until you get it right, and then you mean it. Okay, yeah, I agree. Okay. Let's see more of your comments. Any tips and tricks you can share on travel photography? Maybe we're all seasoned here, but maybe not. Maybe we need to share some wisdom with the people who picking up their cameras for the first time. I deal with a lot of people picking up film photography for the first time, and it's interesting. It's very interesting that people just don't know what to do. Like, let's say they show the raw film, they don't even know that it needs to be rewound back into the cassette and things like this. So when we say things as expected because we know them, we also need to understand that some people, it's their first time. So any information, something we kind of take a given and we don't even mention, we need to explain this because it may help some people, So that's what I've noticed. But yeah, a lot of young kids shooting film nowadays, they need to learn a lot from film, and we all kind of trying to get things without reading manuals, and that's I don't read manuals, but but when you start to do something you've never done before, definitely have a look at some YouTube videos, read some guides, and the good thing is plenty of them free online. So Daywalker is asking, anyone try that new 35 1.4 yet? Not yet, but we will be filming, I think around 30th, 31st of August, and we will be got a couple of things. We just get sometimes random things. So good folks at TT Artisan sent us an buffering. Am I buffering? Don't think so. Okay. So good folks at TT Artisan sent us some. This is called Action Finder. That would go on the hot show of your camera. Haven't opened this yet. Not sure how good it is. But yes, a little. Okay. But we're gonna try this Action Finder. We have a review of Nikon Action Finder, Becky's review. So have a look on our channel. Definitely have a look at this. And then we've got this thing. I think it's a $7 hot shoe light, which looks like a film roll. It comes in the packaging like this, which is, it's obviously not a professional tool, but it's pretty cute, I would say, So, and then, yeah, it's got light in there, stuff like this. I like it. I haven't used it, but definitely, something for fun. $7, I think, for one of those. I am buffering again. I'm not sure what's happening there, but let's see. Buffering here in the US. I think I'm back. Am I back or not? All right, let's see. Let's see. Buffering, not buffering. Lots of buffering, less buffering. Okay, are we back? Are we back? I was patiently waiting. Okay, I'm just gonna drop off emails quickly to our IT department, see if they can figure something out. But definitely let me know if I'm back or not. Okay, let's just. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Not back. Okay, what about now? Okay, let's see. The email is gone to our IT department, so see what happens. But all good now. Okay, so if it's good in Australia, that means it should be good everywhere in the world, I think. But 2:47 p.m., it's no buffering. So whoever has been downloading whatever the latest album of Taylor Swift or something, they probably stop downloading it in FLAC, because if you listen to the music, not on physical media, you gotta listen on FLAC, isn't it? Forget MP3s. Anyway, so we're back to normal. So what I was saying, yeah. So those little things been sent to us. So they're I'm gonna play with them. It's good fun. I always like film shaped products and things like this. But I'm gonna go through your comments again and see what happens. But first of all, thank you very much, Randall. I appreciate it. He says Z50 and ZFC 16 to 50, 12 28, 18 to 140, 50 to 250 lens, 24 1.7, TTR 127 mil, and Wheelstrokes 33. Wow, that's a lot of equipment. But also batteries charged in low pro backpack that weighs completely 15 obis. That is quite the setup. Thank you very much, Randall. And everyone has confirmed that we are back, and I really appreciate it because without your feedback, I would be sitting here quietly and doing nothing really. That's the thing. Peter Thorpe said, back from European holiday with caravan, so I could take most of my lenses, 95% of photos taken with Z8, 24 to 120, and Z100 to 400 lens. Those are fantastic choices. Yeah, definitely. If you're traveling by car, it's so much easier, isn't it? So you can really kind of pick and choose all the lenses. Pete is asking question in the chat. So question for the group, does your computer travel with you to back up and store photographs? I want to know that. Back in the day, we used to have those devices. I mean, they're still available now where you have this like a hard drive with SD drive, with a SD card slot, and it would have a, screen, and you could put your memory cards in and it would transfer it, to the internal storage and things like this. Do you do that? I mean, I should film, so my memory cards are my film, but I generally tend to, if I shoot commercially, I definitely will take a laptop with me and I'll definitely back everything up. So I would have my memory cards as well, images on memory cards as well, the images on my computer. So that's for sure. So you just have two options backup. If I have access to internet, it will go straight to the cloud backup as well. But when I'm traveling, it's, those type of photographs are very different. So generally, I would just get one large memory card. But I'm traveling, if I shoot digital, I take Nikon ZF. And ZF has a fantastic backup option. It's called a micro SD slot. And I literally use it as a backup. I bought 1 terabyte micro SD. It just sits there as a backup. And I use SD as my kind of main card. So that 1 terabyte SD card doesn't come out at all, really, from the camera. So it's just there, and like my SD card is also large. I mean, let's be honest, if you don't need sports and wildlife photography and you don't need high bitrate video, then SD cards are a very inexpensive way to shoot shoot digitally. That's the thing. We don't need to spend 150, 200 pounds for CF Express cards, if you're on a tight budget. But you can, of course, and if you have camera to allow for that. Angie says that little film-shaped light might be good for macro. I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure how powerful it is. It's got this magnetic hot shoe mount, and then you attach it to this a little bit, and then you can rotate it. So I personally think for macro it should be powerful enough. I want to see if it's good for like party photography, where you just got groups of people and you just use that. Because if you look at portable flashes nowadays, there's not many choices of portable flashes. I had a discussion with David, who asked me about this. And actually, there's not many small portable flash guns that are currently available that you could put on your camera. All of them are quite big. If you look at Nikon setup, so what you've got now, SB500, SB700, and SB5000, all of them are quite large. And they used to have SB300 and SB400, which were quite, a lot smaller. And again, those are really film and flash things for, let's say, close up, or let's say just 2-3 people in a group and things like this. You're not looking at professional light quality from them, but they would fill that gap. And Nikon doesn't make anything like this. I actually have a little Fuji, I think it's called EXF20, which were about 150 pounds when they were available brand new. They're now going secondhand for like, I think over 300 pounds. And the good thing about that flash is you can put it on any non-Fuji camera, and it allows you to set your flash output manually. So that's the good thing about this. So I have that one. It can go on my Nikon, it can go on my Leica, it can go on my Fuji GFX even, if need to be. So I really like that, but I really feel like we need to get more options on a very small license. So this is for $7. Obviously, don't expect it to be amazing for $7, but I think as a feel and flash, who knows? Who knows? Once I play with it, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Tim Harris says, yes, I am taking a laptop with me for travel. Sol is using iPad and Lightroom to edit and post on Facebook as he travels. So those are different options here. So good to know. And then Tracker says, sorry, late for the party. He's using Z7 II with 28mm 2.8 lens and 85 1.8 lens. And he says, portability is a king. Absolutely agree. It's perfect. I was actually thinking, what's the perfect prime lens setup for kind of general photography? And I was thinking, like normally what people say, like 28-50 and 90mm lens, yeah, or 85. That's a good option. But if you need to go ultra wide angle, there's always 21. I really like the 21 Voigtlander that they make for Leica mounts. It's tiny, 3.4. I don't need it to be wide aperture than that because I don't, I'm not going to shoot, stars with it. But for travel photography, it's perfect because during the day, you got plenty of light. You're going to stop it down to f8, f11 easily, but it's so small and it's so portable that it's absolutely amazing. But if you're thinking of prime lenses, what would be your travel setup? What kind of prime lenses you would take with you if you just shoot prime lenses? Let's forget that zoom lenses exist for a moment. So let me know in the comments below. All right, so Matt Lee says, if on a big trip, then I'll switch memory cards halfway so I have at least some of the photos if something else happens. Good option, good option. Obviously, if you got camera with a backup second slot, then, you can use second slot as backup. Let's see. I'm glad we're not buffering. So let's see what's going to happen here. I guess maybe our IT department looked into that, so that helps. So people recommend to use Starlink if you're in the places where you can't back up online. So those Starlink devices connect to the satellites. Yeah, I don't know what they are. I think they're about 70, 80 pounds in UK per month. Plus, obviously, you pay about 250 for device or something like this. But yeah, if you I think in the places like United States, I think they're more relevant because you've got a lot of space. It's a big country, so there's a lot of space. I remember driving and just in California, and there were quite a few dead zones in California, when driving the highway. So yeah, you definitely for some of you who live very remote, that would be a good option. Or if you travel remote. And another thing, yeah, which is great for travel photography. That's another tip is the GPS thing that we discussed a couple of weeks ago, or lack of those in the current cameras. So some people buy dedicated GPS devices if you need to. Some people use, let's say in Nikon's case, a snap bridge to geotag the images, so all sorts of things. But all those are good recommendation. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, if you like this stream, since we have 130 people watching and only 65 likes, yeah, so let's just double that amount because why not? That's that just shows the appreciation and that makes me happy. So definitely click that like button as usual. It's there, it's right in front of you under the video, so it's always helps the channel. All right, let's see. If you have any questions, do ask me in the comments, and do put QQQ in front of the question as well. So that's that. And QNetX says, I have several tiny Fuji flashes with other cameras and small Godox Lux Junior is fairly compact. Yeah, Godox Lux range is pretty good. It's a Godox range of those retro style flash guns. Have a look at those. They look fun. They look fun, and I think they're manual as well, so which is good. I don't think we have TTL non-Nikon options available there, but I do agree that those are quite nice flash guns. And the good thing is, yeah, they're not very expensive as well. All right, let me just quickly check through your comments as well and see what else is there. So Connect X is also saying that for wildlife photos in Central and South America, D500 or D7200 Sigma 150-600, and Nico 851.8 macro Nico. 851.8 macro Nico? I think it's 8518 is a prime lens, but there's 105 2.8 macro Nico. So, and he also has small Sony A600 as a second camera, I assume. Jim Lama says you want an ultra wide fast lens for those evening shots on the narrow streets. Sounds like fun. Colin Murphy in the chat. Hello, Colin. I think these days he says I would be traveling with a Z7 ZF 24 to 72.8 millimeters, 7200 2.8 millimeter, twice. Both teleconverters 1.2 times, and also 100 to 400 lens. Quite a setup. It's a big backpack, which is good. If you can handle big backpack full photographic equipment, that's amazing. That's amazing. I probably would be crying after 30 minutes, walking up walking up the mountains. Champagne Shots Photography has a question for me. He says, if planning an Iceland trip with Aurora in mind and you already had 14 to 30, would you opt for 14-24 instead? Well, for all-night photography, generally, it's his advice to have the widest aperture you can get. So if you can get to 2.8, if you can get to 1.8, then probably would be better. So that's the widest and the widest focal distance and the widest aperture. So 21.8, quite a setup. But yeah, 14-24, definitely a good option for that. Let's see. Andy is having the recommendation, and he's saying, don't put your monopod in carry-on. Took 45 minutes to explain to security that it wasn't for photography. They thought it was some sort of weapon. They stopped my film Leica. You had to go through the X-ray, so obviously you can't have a hand check. They put it through and they thought it was a weapon. It's just a mechanical camera, made of metal and brass. So that's that. Okay, so let's see if I've missed all the comments. I think we're good. On the comments here. Let me see. I'm just going to quickly through. Okay. We covered the memory cards. I just got a massive refresh of comments here. Here we go. So Dave Slot says 28 or 26 millimeter, 40 and 105 macro, if just prime. Dave, what's your opinion on 28 versus 26? I want to know. Definitely let me know. So I like 28. I know 28-6 is better, but more expensive. But I like my lenses to be cheap and wonderful. So that's the thing. Half the price. Autofocus is good. I'm very happy. But let me know what you think about this. So Tim Harris says, if I had to choose primes only, it would be 35 1.8. Sounds good. Have you had a chance to try 1.4? I want to try it as well. So we're going to test this. I'll tell you more about this. But I didn't take any digital camera with me, so I didn't take 35 1.4 on this trip. So Joe Vlog says, vibration reduction on my 24 to 124 died, so I replaced it with Nikon 24 to 2.8. Are you referring to the F-mount version 24 to 120? Or the current one, because I haven't seen the Z version VR dying on that. So, does it have VR? Good question. All right, I can Google it. Here we go. And then he says, I assume it's F-mount version. Yeah, Nikon H5 1.8G, Sigma 105 2.8. Camera bag is very heavy on this. Yeah, I had a chat with Sigma the other day. I say, asking them where the full frame lens is. And they said no information to share. So my hope is that they just can't reveal it and something's happening. But if, fingers crossed. I really want Sigma lenses for Z mounts. Okay. So 40 mil is being recommended for street photography. That's good. Jose Neto says, usually I'm taking 24 to 120 to travel, especially for street photography. Really versatile. I'm in doubt about the lens for wildlife traveling. So 100 to 400 or 180 to 600. What do you think, guys? Yeah, what do you think, guys? My personal recommendation to Jose is to try it, because obviously 100 to 400 is more portable. It's still a large lens, but it's smaller than 180 to 600. So it just comes down to, again, how much things you can fit. Again, when you're flying, space is at premium, so that's the thing. And you don't want to put your lenses in the hold luggage. You want to have it in your hand luggage, So all these have to come into consideration. But yes, if you're traveling somewhere where you have enough space for everything, and you're shooting primarily on a longer end, so more 400 side of things, then maybe 180 600 is a better choice. So technically, yeah, you will have a little gap between 180, 120 to 180, but it's not too bad, I would say. And Dave Walker kind of agrees with me. He says, if I was doing auroras and astro photography, I'd be looking for something like 20 millimeters 1.8. Here we go. Yeah, I'm glad we agree with that. Yeah, generally the widest focal distance as well as the widest aperture you can get. Kind of this is kind of the way to go about this. Rick is saying for wide landscape 14 to 28 prime for compression or drilling into photo 70 mil to around 150 millimeter range and some filters. David is asking, does Nikon still make waterproof and point shoot cameras? I don't think so. They had something, but I don't think they do anymore. Ricoh just released another waterproof camera. I think Olympus still have a waterproof camera. Let's see what Nikon Coolpix is currently available. Don't blame me. Don't blame me for not knowing Nikon Coolpix range. Not my jam. But Nikon currently has on their website two cameras: it's Coolpix P90 and Coolpix P1000 cameras. Both are kind of very fairly large size, kind of those bridge cameras with fairly long zoom. So let's see, P950 has 83 optical zoom, so goes to up to 2000 millimeter focal distance, and I assume something like 28 or something like this. So that's pretty long lens. And then P1000 has 125 times 125 optical zoom. I don't even know what that means in terms of actual focal distance. So let's just have a look at what they say on their website. And it does 4K for video work, which is useful, I guess. But built-in flash. Remember the built-in flash? That was pretty good. So 25 times zoom, and I never understood why they use for compact cameras, but it's actually equivalent between 24 millimeter to 3000 millimeters focal distance in 35 millimeter format or full frame. That's a one long zoom, I can tell you that, But no, I would say if you're looking at point and shoot, then yeah, definitely I think Olympus or Ricoh. That's if you for something waterproof, or a lot of people now, if you're swimming and stuff, or action type of shots, GoPro, but I assume that point shoot will produce better image quality just in terms of image quality, really, more than anything else. All right, let's see. The comments have picked up, so I'm going to try to catch up with this. So Tom Lawrence says he's using his Viltrox 16mm 1.8 for auroras. Here we go. Further north, you need wider lens to get it all in. Very good recommendation. Thank you, Tom. Dave Walker says, I take my gear as hand luggage in backpack with other stuff and pack a smaller bag empty in case to use out once there. Yeah, I generally to give one camera and the lens to my wife, so she's carrying it in her backpack if my backpack is too big, So that's that. So that way they don't stop us. Like, oh, why do you have so many cameras? When I went to the United States, I had many rolls with me. I had like 50 rolls of film. And I was flying, I think, from Gatwick. And I asked for hand check. And the security was asking me questions like, are you going, like, why do you need so many rolls of film? I'm like, well, I'm traveling. Yes, I have a big trip planned. And they were looking at me. They weren't amused. They thought, I guess they were thinking that I have so many rolls maybe because I'm going to shoot professionally, going to go there and shoot commercial work in the United States, Realistically speaking, if I would have to go to the United States and shoot commercial work, I'd probably, buy some film from places like Adorama, or B&H, instead of lugging all that film with me, So, but it was just puzzling to me. I looked puzzled at them. They looked puzzled at me, So we said goodbye and, ta-ta. All right, let's see. Tim Harris says, carry on size Pelican hard case, backpack under my seat. Okay. Don't think they will let you with those on something like EasyJet or Wizz Air, But if you're flying with normal airlines and you're paying real ticket prices, then yeah, you'll have all that comfort. In Europe, sometimes we don't have that luxury. That's the thing, because all the flights are those Wizz Air type of flights. It is what it is, I guess. 100 to 400 plus teleconverter. That's what Robert Golden recommends for someone who don't want to get 180 to 600 lens. And the reason for that being is the size. So if you're a teleconverter, you can technically push this lens to 800 if you put 2 times teleconverter, or if you put 1.4 times teleconverter, then you get about what 1.4 560. So which is pretty good. So that kind of gets you close to 180 600 range, which is pretty all right. Let's see. The software recommendation like Topaz and Pure Raw. I never use those. So tell me if it's good or not. I want to know this. Glowhorn says small travel setup, Nikon Z7, 4 Voigtlander lenses, 20 millimeter, 21 millimeter f3.5 for A mount via adapter. This lens I own. It's absolutely fantastic. 35 millimeter f2 Apollanta for Z mount. Again, amazing lens. 50 f2 Apo, amazing lens. 90 millimeter 3.5 Apollanta as well. All of them, all Apple's Voigtlander lenses are absolutely fantastic. And then he has an option of 24 to 70 f4 and 105 macro. Here's some updates on Apollantas for Z mount. So the news came out about 2 months ago. Unfortunately, guys, we don't do podcast anymore. So it just takes too much time. And normally I would share those things on Nikon Report podcast. But the rumors came out that, and actually kind of Cosina published statement that they discontinued 50mm f2 Apple for Z mount. So that was about a month or 2 months ago, and people started to panic. Now, I have some good news for you. So from what I understood from the suppliers is that they will still be coming in, those 50 f2 Apples, at least till the end of the year. So there's still production is going there. So if you want that 50 Apple, you will be able to get it. But my advice would be just to put your name on the waiting list because they will be coming in small quantities. We won't give them the date when they've fully run out. But this is like a small update on those things. And according to our suppliers, 50 Apple, it's, they were puzzled by the whole thing of discontinuation because it technically was one of the most popular Z mount lens from Voigtlander. So here you have it, folks. Okay, so let's see. Let's go on. Yeah, but that 20mm f3.5 Voigtlander lens. It's a tiny thing. It's absolutely beautiful. Love it. Joe Vlogs recommends 14mm 2.8 semi-yard lens for f mount. So in his case, it would be D800. And he says on the budget, it's pretty good. Those semi-yard lenses are good lenses, for the money. Obviously, there are better lenses for more money, but that's just life, isn't it? So you pay more, you get better. But semi-young lenses are good. I played with a few. Image quality is very reasonable on those. Let's see. So Glowhorn says, looking forward to checking out the new small and light Voigtlander 50mm f3.5 Apple lenses that's supposed to be released this month. It's a collapsible, non-collapsible design. So it looks like it may collapse, but actually it's not. You can't collapse it. So very interesting choice by Voigtlander. I have a pre-order for 50mm f2.2 lens, which they announced at the same time, and it's been out, but it's just been out of stock because it's very popular. But it's a tiny 50mm lens, and it's review so far has been very positive, and I really like those tiny lenses. This is what I do now. I just try to get my setup as small as possible without sacrificing image quality, and that's where I guess rangefinder cameras excel. Obviously, once you pass the rangefinder focusing, you have an option of very small lenses. That's the thing. David Liu recommends Micro Four Thirds for space and weight saving. So yeah, it says if that's what he has. If he needs to travel small and light, then Micro Four Thirds series is pretty good for that. Absolutely agree with you. I haven't followed Micro Four Thirds in a while now, but I don't know what's the new cameras there. Have they managed to get the higher resolution sensors on those? Because obviously it's a very small sensor. And once you start to get megapixels there, it obviously gets quite cramped. So the noise is one of the issues they're facing. But yeah, thank you, Mike. Says Coffee with Kanye. I appreciate it. All right. Well, I think I'm just looking at the comments. I think everyone's got their good photography setup. If you have any tips for newcomers on travel photography, do let me know in the comments below. Guys, do you use filters? What filters do you use? Do you use gradient filters for landscape work? Do you use diffusion filters, which is all the rage nowadays on the internet? All those was a black promise filters and glimmer glass and you name it. Or you just kind of old fashioned and you're going to stick a good circular polarizer filter on your lens. Or maybe you want to use shallow depth of field and use ND filters. And if you use ND filters, which ones do you use? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, since we have a couple minutes left, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to start a poll and I'm going to say, what is the best travel lens? What is the best travel lens? And it's a trick question. Well, it's not really a trick question, but I'm going to put, what kind of lenses shall we put there? 24 to 200, 28 to 400. Let's put those lenses. What else do we put? 24 to 70, 24 to 120. Let's see how many options I'm going to have. 35 millimeter f1.8, 35 millimeter or 28 millimeter, 28 millimeter or 35 millimeter or 50 millimeter prime. All right. Random question, but let's have a poll here. Let's have it interactive. So I just came up with those. So what do you think is the best travel lens? So 24 to 120. I have a feeling that 24 to 120 it's where it's going to be at, but let's have a look. Let's see. You see, okay, so here we go. Here we go. Okay, there's some votes for 27 for the 28 mil prime. So there's some good. It's interesting, you know, your reaction. I think for, let's say, consumer who buys the camera for family, 24 to 200 personally would be a fantastic choice because it's a best all-round family lens, as I would say. 28 to 400 would be probably the best hobbyist / pro lens who need the widest range. The 24 to 120 would be probably the best pro traveler lens, yeah? And then the prime lenses would be for the purists, just like me. No, yeah, I like my primes. I like my primes, but, you know, I understand the inconvenience of them. It's just, you know, like it comes down to I'm happy to have that burden on, you know, and being convenient and saying, oh, my 28 is too wide for this type of shot, and then I'll have a 50 in my pocket or something like this. So, but as I can see, just looking at the chart, it looks like we've got 24 to 120. F4 is the winner. So for some of you who were considering a travel lens to buy, then 24 to 120, as you can see, is being voted the best travel lens in the world by our Nikon community enthusiasts. So here you have it, folks. So we have that. It's clearly, it's way ahead of anything else. So we're going to end this poll. I don't know what would be the best camera for travel. I think on this one, there is no best camera for travel. It really is the camera that you have with you more than anything else. But if you're looking at current Nikon lineup, you can't go wrong with any of the cameras on Nikon lineup. You know, that's the thing. From DX range to the full frame range. And if you're on the budget, have a look at Nikon's second-hand range. The Z6 Mark IIs are dropping in price as second-hand because a lot of people are upgrading to Generation 3 version. So if you were thinking of upgrading, then it's a good time to buy Z6 II because, you know, it's just one of the things to have, you know. Another good thing to do is actually to subscribe to Nikon Owner magazine. Jill kindly, the editor, well, the rights for Nikon Owner magazine, she kindly let me know that there's a £10 of digital subscription. So it's a 29 pounds instead of 39 pounds. And it's a digital subscription. You get all the access to the magazines. There's Becky's articles there. There's discount on Becky's workshop, the macro workshop that she did as well. It's a video, you know, so you can have a look at that as well. And you can use content code for that, and it's at nikonownershop.com. Here you have it, folks. But I can see that, well, I stopped the poll, Frank, so because 24 to 120 was really clearly a winner there. So there's no really way to compete it. But I'm glad that the prime lenses ended up on the third place. And actually 28 to 400, surprisingly, is on the last place. So, one of the things to know, it's obviously a great all-rounder, but it's not for everyone. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like you hiking or something. That's a chunky lens to carry with all your climbing gear, if you see what I mean. So, but Pete's still using T300 and 35 1.8, and the 35 1.8 DXF mount lens is perfect. It's just perfection, really. You can get it now for like 70 pounds secondhand on eBay. It's beautiful lens, very very sharp. My brother has one. And he's using it for portraits because it gives you 50 mil on DX sensors, so that's pretty good. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm happy to be back. Hopefully, we will continue the live streams on a weekly basis. Don't think we're gonna have. I'm not planning any other holidays, but who knows? Maybe there's gonna be a random one. I had an interesting live stream planned for you on 30th of August, but unfortunately, we have to reschedule. So, but the good news, you don't know what it's all about, but it was a special one. It will still happen. It's just gonna be probably in September, but that's gonna be the one which is going to be different from this. It's going to be an interview, but someone we never had before on our channel before. So so that's what it is. All right. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up. I think it's after 3 o'clock. It's 3:18. We're going to wrap up 2 minutes just to kind of compensate for buffering. So we make it this 1 hour. 24 to 120. Okay, David Liu says traveling in Europe requires a lot of walking with a lot of places for beating cameras, but not phones. Backlight. Yeah, I mean, city travels, I think it's fine, I guess, but I don't know. As long as you don't have tripods out, genuinely. And as you say, like me and Becky once we were filming with a gimbal at London Bridge, the market they have there. So, and because we had a gimbal, they said, oh, you can't film there. Here you go. So we came back the following week and we just shot with Z6 handheld and we shot the same video there. No issue whatsoever. So generally, people are fine. Be nice, be polite, smile. One thing kind of like what we need to understand as well, like like English is not my first language, yeah? So generally, if you go to Europe, you may find that people try to speak to you. First of all, like if they speak to you in English, they may sound rude, right? They're not rude, they just don't know the language. That's the thing. And it's perfectly understandable where French people don't want to speak English to you. They're proud French and they like to speak French, and that's fine. We all have different cultures. That's the thing. In Berlin, let's say Germany, people generally are very happy to speak English to you, and pretty much everyone speaks English in Berlin. Like if you go to whatever bars, restaurants, and shops and things like this. But kind of, we all need to understand that not everyone speaks English, and if they speak English, it's not their first language. So they may sound rude, they actually don't mean it. So that's the thing. And if you go to Eastern Europe, then they just people like this. They look rough, but actually, once you get to know them, they're really nice people. Here's my tip and trick for you, but we're going to wrap up now. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. It's been absolute pleasure to see you all in the chat. We're going to be back next week. Don't know what we're going to talk about. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate it. But as usual, chat is buzzing. I really appreciate to have you here. Have a great weekend. Go on holiday. Take some pictures. The weather is nice in UK. It's very hot in Europe. I'm sure in the United States it's hot as well. Go take some pictures. Stay hydrated and share your tips and tricks in the comments with me. So speak later. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.